What's going on, everyone? So the start of the NBA season begins with the Golden State Warriors. And we're not going to have LeBron James, right? I don't think this team is better without LeBron, but I do think this team is still capable of making the playoffs without LeBron. LeBron is not expected to be back till mid-November, right? So probably missing the first 14, 15 games. You kind of look at mid-November, right? Well, on the November 15th, the Lakers come off of a second game of a back-to-back against the Milwaukee Bucks. That would be their 14th game of the season. So does he come back for that Bucks game? Does he come back around the Utah game? I really think it's going to depend on kind of how good or bad the Lakers are, right? If the Lakers through the first 10 games, right, are 8-2 or 7-3, something like that. Maybe even 6-4, but like definitely for sure 7-3, 8-2. I definitely see LeBron kind of, all right, we're good, right? And let's give it another 5 games, and if they go, whatever, 4-1 during that stretch or 3-2 during that stretch, and now they're 10-5, right? Like I could again see LeBron going, okay, let's give it another 5 games, right? Like as long as the Lakers are doing what they're supposed to do and rattling off some wins, I think LeBron will take his time in returning. Where if it's the other way, through the first 5 games, Lakers are 1-4. Now I could see LeBron going like, how long do I want to sit out here and kind of rest? Because, like we end up, if I take another 10 games and we're, 2-8, right? Or, through 15 games, 3-12 or something like that, we might be too far behind the 8 ball in the Western Conference to really, even if I do come back, pull us through, right? And get us back to where we need to be. Or I'm overexerting myself to the point where, like, come playoff time, I might not even be healthy, right? So these are all factors. I think it really is going to boil down to the Lakers. But you look at this Lakers schedule, I actually think they have a very favorable schedule through the first, 10, 15 games or so, where I can see the Lakers, rattle off and win a bunch of games. You're not leaving California till the 29th of October. So basically you have a week, 8 days before you got to send out and go to Minnesota. You go to Minnesota. So the Lakers play the Golden State Warriors and then the Minnesota Timberwolves on the 21st today against the Golden State Warriors. And then they play Minnesota on the 24th. So they got a couple days off in between the Warriors and Minnesota to kind of prep for Minnesota. Hopefully they get the win against the Warriors. We'll touch on that here in a moment. But you get those 2 games at home. Then you go at Sacramento, so you're still in California. Then you come back home for the Trailblazers, right? And then that's where you go to Timberwolves, right? So you play Minnesota twice. You should beat them at least once. Sacramento, I think you should beat. Portland, for sure, I think you should beat. And then Grizzlies, they're decimated with injuries right now. So you should at least beat the Grizzlies to round out the month of October, right? So the other questions are the Warriors tonight, which I think the Lakers match up and are very favorable against. But also, I think that the Lakers, right, like, you can't let them get that head of steam. Right? Like, the Warriors are a team that can light it up in a hurry, and we're really good in a post-Jimmy Butler, trade. So they're a team that's going to be motivated, they're going to be hungry, they're going to want that first win. Yes, I think the Lakers match up very well, but you don't have LeBron. And this is a team that, again, is very good at the game of basketball. And our lack of perimeter defense and their capabilities of shooting the basketball can get things carried away really quickly for us. But I like the matchup. I expect us to get the win tonight at home. You get that Warriors win, then I think the only games in question are really the Minnesota game, which is one that like I said, you should win at least one of them. So if you win the Warriors game, I think, you're talking 5-1 maybe, right? If you lose the Warriors game, then I think 4-2 you'd be looking at in the first 6 games. And then you go into the Heat, the Blazers, the Spurs, the Hawks, the Hornets, right? So the next 5 games, again, I think you're talking at worst 3-2. And then that's where you get in the Thunder, the Pelicans, and the Bucks to kind of round out the last 3 games, which, Thunder, look, Lakers, say what you want about the Lakers and Thunder. Lakers have matched up and have been very favorable in that matchup against the Thunder on several occasions. Now you are in OKC, so that's something to keep in mind. Pelicans, I think the Lakers should beat, and then the Milwaukee Bucks, we'll see how good or bad they are. We will be in Milwaukee for that game. So again, I do think that the Lakers have a very favorable schedule. I do think that this is a schedule in which the Lakers can thrive and win. I do think that this is a good opportunity for guys. I think this is an opportunity for guys like Rui Hachimura, right? Like, he usually plays well against the Warriors. And he usually plays well when LeBron's out because he gets more opportunities. He gets to slot into his natural position of the 4. And I think this will be a good opportunity for him to thrive. I think you look at DeAndre Ayton, right? You're going to get a great look at Luka, Austin Reeves, and DeAndre Ayton as kind of your core 3 guys for, the next 10, 15 games or so, which is good because those are the guys that you're expecting and planning on to be your pieces for now and the future of this team, right? So this is very important, particularly for those 3 guys on how many wins and losses we can get. And then you add in guys, Gabe Vincent. He was arguably our best player in summer league or in preseason, right? I mean, shooting the ball tremendously, playing defense, getting after it, hustle play, stuff like that. If he can kind of pick up where he left off in that, right? I even talked about starting Gabe Vincent is not my preferred option, right? But he was playing so good in preseason. I think it's justified, right? You kind of just see, and he makes sense against the Warriors because of Pod and Steph and stuff like that. He can be the guy to kind of chase them around, gives you that offense and that shooting, especially if he again continues to shoot the ball the way that he did in preseason, and even towards the end of last season, the last 3 games of the season, he was 38% from 3-point range. So if he can kind of give you that 2-way play, plus it just gives you another ball handler that can initiate or get you out in transition, things like that. I think I think it makes sense and it's justified. I think you'll still see a lot of Marcus Smart, Jared Vanderbilt, guys like that try to slow guys down. But I do think, at least for now, Gabe Vincent, I do think makes some sense. But even JJ Redick said, I'm starting them this game, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be every game. We might, look for various matchups. So example, we play Minnesota next. Maybe JJ Redick goes with the Maxi Kleba to match up the double bigs, with a Julius Randle and a Rudy Gobert, right? Maybe you go with DeAndre Ayton because he can defend a little bit out of the perimeter. Same thing with Maxi Kleba. Maybe you go with those double bigs, or maybe you do go, Jared Vanderbilt in that lineup to kind of pressure because Vando has more size, so he can pressure Anthony Edwards a little more, right? There's options there that the Lakers can kind of utilize and retool. But I do think that this, again, is a very good opportunity for the Lakers. I don't think the Lakers are better without LeBron, but I do think that they are a team that is very capable of winning games, especially during the regular season. I look at the Lakers right now as is, and look, there's a lot of things that need to be addressed. There's a lot of things that I do want to see the Lakers do at some point, but you can get away with a lot during the regular season. I think the Lakers need to address that by the playoffs, but early in the season, I think we'll be fine. Right? Lakers do what they're supposed to do that allows LeBron to get healthy, right? I don't think LeBron's the difference between us being the, 6 seed or the 3 seed, right? LeBron's the difference from us being a playoff team and an actual contender that can win the NBA championship, right? So if this team does a couple things, right? One, it allows, like I mentioned, the Lakers guys to kind of step up and elevate, build some confidence, kind of get into the scheme of things. It allows LeBron to take a step back and kind of evaluate where he fits. I'm not talking about the report where LeBron's going to sit back and be like, okay, who do I need to trade? And if I don't like this team, you need to trade me. That is a terrible look. But him taking a step back to evaluate the team in the sense of okay, how, guys are playing great. How do I not disrupt that and slot myself in? Right? Because if Rui's cooking and Jake LaRavia and Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, and DeAndre Ayton are doing everything that you want to do, last thing you want is LeBron to come in and now all those guys get neutralized and it's just the LeBron show. Right? LeBron himself has even talked about how he wants to play more off ball. He worked all off season on just his catch and shoot 3-point shooting. Let Luka and Austin Reeves run the show. And that's how it should be. I've talked about LeBron needs to operate as the third option. The reason I say it like this is because LeBron is never going to be the third option. If at any point LeBron goes, I want the ball, check ball. He's getting the basketball. There are going to be nights and times where you need LeBron to put the cape on and, hey, all right, I got us, let's go. Right? But I think that's going to be fewer and far between. LeBron's going to get his 20 plus just being on the basketball court, right? But he needs to let Luka and Austin Reeves be the workhorses. Let those two handle the business, and you continue to play off ball. There's going to be times where he gets the basketball and he's going to take guys off the dribble, do all that stuff. But he needs to fit in rather than be the guy that comes in and just like takes the spotlight, right? Even if he comes back, because there's the natural gravity of LeBron James. LeBron's back. Let's get LeBron in the action. Let's make sure LeBron eats. LeBron needs to make sure that he's going, no. You guys, especially if the Lakers are looking good and winning, right? Let's say he comes back after 15 games and the Lakers are, 11-4 during those 15 games. If you're JJ, if you're LeBron, you need to be, no, you guys are 11-4 right now, right? It's different. If the Lakers are 4-11, that's different. But the Lakers are good without LeBron, then LeBron needs to be like, hey, no, you guys need to keep playing the way that you are playing. Don't worry about me. I will figure it out. I will work my way in. Because he's going to get plenty of opportunities. They can run actions through him. Luka's going to be looking for him and getting him the basketball. He's going to be able to play off ball. He's going to be getting all kinds of yams and all that. Like, LeBron will be fine. You don't have to worry about him scoring and playing the basketball. But you don't want him to come in if the Lakers are good. Again, very different if the Lakers are terrible. But if the Lakers are good, you don't want him coming in and disrupting things. You want him to come in and be that piece that takes you over the top. Where now it's like, okay, let's go. We're off to the races now. Now, there might be a little bit of a learning curve there, which is fine, right? Don't, panic if LeBron does come back and the Lakers end up, losing or winning, say, only 2 out of their next 5 rather than 4 out of their next 5, right? Or whatever, or 1 out of the next 5, right? Because, again, there might be a little bit of adjustment, a little bit of a learning curve, but I trust that that'll get worked out, that'll get figured out, and then you'll see that Lakers team, again, assuming that they're good without him, work it out. But going to be a big test for the Lakers. It's going to be a good opportunity to kind of see and evaluate those main 3 guys and just these players, period. Kind of start to see what kind of rises to the top on both needs and players that kind of are going to be in the rotation, kind of topping guys, or what guys are we trading, so on and so forth. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.